Tonight, the encrypted messages police used to help track down a man now facing terror charges. New details following an alarming arrest.
He was driven by 3 different cars when he traveled between Toronto and Montreal.
What U.S. court documents reveal about the suspect. Back to the office.
It was an arbitrary decision that was made without consultation.
Frustration for some federal public servants. Also, artificial intelligence and the Canadian workforce.
It could be very, very disruptive.
With nearly every profession on the line, who will AI replace first? Plus, turning the page on little libraries.
I thought, if I can do something here, I will.
One man's creativity helping to spread kindness in a BC community.
CTV National News with Heather Butts.
Good evening. We're learning more tonight about the man arrested in Canada while planning a massive attack on a Jewish community in New York. Court documents reveal alarming details police say were shared in encrypted messaging apps by a Pakistani national and an alleged ISIS sympathizer. As CTV's John Woodward reports, the terrorism case has the federal opposition demanding answers.
It was an unusual sight in Ormstown, Quebec. Photos show dozens of police officers descending to arrest one man, Mohammed Shahzeb Khan, also known as Shahzeb Jadoon.
During our investigation, we discovered Khan used encrypted messaging apps.
In messages on those apps, American authorities allege the citizen of Pakistan posted this picture of a disassembled weapon and soon was sharing a book about the listed terrorist organization ISIS to someone who turned out to be a police informant. Soon, the documents allege he was talking to undercover agents, telling them he planned a one-of-a-kind attack on the U.S. soil with AR-15s, first targeting an unnamed city, then turning his attention to New York City, saying, "New York is perfect to target Jews. We are going to NYC to slaughter them." The alleged plan, strike on the anniversary of the October 7th attack by Hamas on Israel. Khan allegedly sent this picture, a photo of cash he took out to pay a human smuggler to get him into the U.S. These plans derailed briefly in the summer when Mounties arrested Mustafa and Ahmed El-Didi, a father and son duo alleged to be launching an ISIS-inspired attack on Toronto. When that hit the news, U.S. authorities say Khan texted, "Lay low, no social media, nothing. Cells should be small and well armed." The documents say Khan asked his co-conspirators to buy these headbands.
He allegedly was driven by 3 different cars when he traveled between Toronto and Montreal, demonstrating something of what we call OPSEC, or operational security, on his part.
Then on Wednesday, officers pounced, arresting him in a car around 20 kilometers from the U.S. border. The second alleged terrorist from Toronto arrested in around a month. Cause for concern, says Conservative Party Deputy Leader Melissa Landsman.
The government has to be open and transparent with Canadians and answer exactly how Mr. Khan was able to gain entry into Canada and whether there was any early warning signs.
Public Safety Minister Dominic LeBlanc's staff referred questions to a tweet saying, "We, along with our law enforcement agencies, are working tirelessly to ensure all Canadians' safety." After this arrest, the attack never happened. John Woodward, CTV News, Toronto.
Police in southwestern Ontario have seized hundreds of guns after stopping a car for a traffic violation. Officers found 17 guns during the traffic stop Friday in Waterloo. As part of the investigation, police later searched a home, seizing more than 200 firearms. The 39-year-old driver was charged with careless use of a firearm and is expected to face additional charges relating to storage and handling. An intense manhunt entered a second day in Kentucky after a gunman opened fire at drivers on a highway.
We just heard this deafening loud sound and our ears were ringing.
Gunfire erupted near the city of London yesterday, leaving at least 5 people seriously injured. The suspect's car and an assault-style firearm allegedly used in the shooting have been recovered near the scene. The motive is still unknown. People living in a small town northwest of Montreal are preparing to take matters into their own hands. They're trying to prevent illegal dumping of contaminated materials in the Kanesatake Mohawk territory. As Matt Gilmore reports, clean drinking water is at stake.
This is a simulated roadside checkpoint, a training exercise to teach citizen activists in Oka how to stop heavy trucks suspected of carrying toxic materials to illegal dump sites on the neighboring Kanesatake territory.
We were talking about 200 to 300 trucks a day in April coming here in Oka to dump toxic materials in the lake.
About 1 million people rely on the Lake of Two Mountains for clean drinking water. And many are concerned that after decades of illegal dumping, contaminants may be seeping into the water supply.
It's a very big impact for the city all around the lake who use this water.
Last week, the province announced an action plan that includes fines of up to $6 million for companies caught dumping toxic waste. But the citizens here say until they see real change, they're preparing to take matters into their own hands.
We want the proper rules and the laws that are in the books to be applied and enforced by our own government. So this is a last resort. We don't want to do this, but we'll do it if we have to.
These activists are getting a crash course on Transport Ministry road signage and equipment and how to use them in a citizen roadside checkpoint, putting pressure on the Public Security Minister to act.
We want to show Mr. Bonnardel that if he doesn't do his job, we will do it. And we will do it in a very professional manner and a very secure manner.
Organizers say the plan is to pull heavy vehicles on Route 344 over to the side of the road, inspect their manifests, and take soil samples for testing. They're preparing for a number of different scenarios.
No, listen, I've got a job to do.
Like a hostile driver or police intervention.
We want to make sure that we do everything we can to avoid violence.
But that possibility is why the mayor of Oka has condemned direct citizen action and is instead calling for calm. Organizers here say they don't have any real checkpoints planned, but will watch the government's response over the coming weeks and decide then whether further action is necessary. Matt Gilmore, CTV News, Oka.
A controversial debate that gets a lot of people fired up. Return to the office or work from home. Tens of thousands of government workers will be in the office this week. CTV's Jeremy Sharon on those determined to take this dispute to court.
Pushing back against the federal government's new hybrid work rules. As of tomorrow, public servants will be forced back into the office at least 3 days a week.
The Trudeau Liberal government better prepare itself for a summer of discontent.
Public service unions made that promise to fight back months ago, holding rallies and protests through the summer, and say they aren't done yet.
There'll be rallies right across the countries at different times this week, and this is just the beginning.
The federal government's new hybrid plan aims to improve performance in all departments.
We do feel there are enormous benefits from public servants working together in the office, learning by observation, collaborating on hard issues.
Has there been a lack of productivity? Has there been a drop in productivity?
I think it has been a drop in overall performance.
But the unions have pushed back, claiming performance and productivity haven't been impacted by remote work.
It was an arbitrary decision that was made without consultation. And we actually have evidence, their own emails that state that going back in the office 3 days a week doesn't necessarily mean it'll be more productive.
The union is taking its challenge to federal court, but a hearing date hasn't been set yet.
When the collective agreement is silent on how many days an employee is to be, the location of the workplace, it's going to be an uphill battle for the union.
While workers seem to be split on the move.
It's not that I don't want to be in the office, it's just getting there that's the problem.
We're being paid to show up to the office is my opinion on it.
Now, several federal public sector unions have planned what they're calling a rally for remote worker rights here in Ottawa tomorrow morning, urging the federal government to back off. Heather?
All right, Jeremy, thank you. Some Canadians may be concerned their jobs are at risk of being eliminated because of artificial intelligence. CTV's Kamal Karamali on the new study predicting what positions AI will replace first.
With ChatGPT able to write most things, including political speeches.
That was the first speech, I think, made in this chamber, written by ChatGPT.
And Meta introducing a new chatbot that solves complex problems. It won't be long before artificial intelligence replaces some jobs completely.
We're looking at half or more of jobs are highly exposed to these AI tools, and it could be very, very disruptive.
New federal research looking into AI's impact on jobs broke down occupations into 3 categories: those that will benefit from AI, jobs that won't be affected, and those AI could completely replace. Careers that stand to benefit from AI include healthcare, engineering, and teaching. Jobs that won't be affected usually involve manual labor in trades and construction, while occupations most at risk of being replaced are mostly office jobs like computer programmers or professionals in business, finance, and insurance. That's about 1/3 of all jobs in Canada.
These are higher skilled jobs, typically university educated jobs. And so this is fascinating.
But economists warn not to push the panic button. The history of technological change has taught us one thing.
Yes, it has destroyed millions and millions of jobs, but it has at the same time created many millions of more jobs in other areas.
Areas like cybersecurity, but experts say the shift needs to start now to educate a new generation in jobs that are more likely to survive the AI surge.
So for those of you that are in high school thinking this is your future career, think again. Somebody needs to get in their ear and say, don't spend your time on this stuff.
And with more trade jobs and fewer office jobs expected to survive, some economists also predict a drop in enrollment in higher education, like universities. Heather.
Kamal, thanks. In the span of a week, the Liberals have seen their support deal with the NDP collapse and their national campaign director resign. It leaves Justin Trudeau in a vulnerable political position as he rallies MPs for their annual strategy session. CTV's Colton Prale reports.
A grim picture for Liberals as party MPs gather in Nanaimo this week.
I've ripped up the supply and confidence agreement.
Canada's political landscape has undergone a seismic shift. Justin Trudeau's NDP support is gone. The party's national campaign director is resigning at the end of the month, and the Liberals are languishing with just 21% support.
There is a general mood of definite worry, but I also think that there is resolve on the need to proceed to come up with a plan.
Trudeau is yet to offer a glimpse of what that plan could be, but as economic issues remain voters' top priority, former Bank of Canada Governor Mark Carney is set to address caucus.
We've had an entire summer of nothing, no reaction, no adjustment, no alteration, even as they lose by-elections, even as the polls show them far behind, and even as the NDP walk away.
Some strategists argue acting as a true minority government for the first time in 2 years is actually a gift, even as the Bloc Québécois says it's a chance for them to exert newfound leverage.
Now, without kind of the burden of that agreement, they also have the opportunity to bring things back a little bit to the center and to be not defined by the NDP agenda.
We will not quit. But pollsters say voters hoping to beat Pierre Poilievre are more likely to shift to the New Democrats than the Liberals.
I don't think the problem is the campaign director or, the team trying to figure out how to sell the product. Frankly, when you ask Canadians, the problem is the product itself.
Trudeau won't have to wait long for his next big test. On the same day Parliament returns, his party faces a crucial Montreal by-election and risks losing a seat in what's typically been a safe riding. Heather.
Thanks, Colton. Still ahead, Team Canada celebrates a strong finish.
Paris has really put Paralympics right back on the map.
A Games to remember for Canadian para-athletes. A memorable summer for Canadians came to a close in Paris. The Paralympic Games capped off with plenty of podium finishes. CTV's Christina Tanalia has the details.
A picturesque Paris on the Paralympics closing day.
Paris has really put Paralympics right back on the map.
10 gold, 9 silver, 10 bronze. Just an incredible showing.
29 medals total, surpassing the medal count from 3 years ago in Tokyo. So there's good reason to feel good.
I feel fantastic.
It was a fantastic finish. Ontario's Austin Smeek wrapped things up with a gold in wheelchair racing.
The feeling of winning a gold medal in Paris is absolutely electric.
Adding a second medal after a bronze earlier in the Games. Team Canada dominated in athletics and swimming with 5 golds in each sport. Para swimmers led the way, capturing the greatest number of medals overall at 13 total. The water was where it's at. BC swimmer Nicholas Bennett became the first Canadian male swimmer in 20 years to win multiple golds at a single Games. 2 golds and 1 silver earned him the honor of closing ceremony flag bearer. Ontario canoeist Brianna Hennessy joined him to hoist the flag.
My mom was my best friend in the whole world. She was my Wonder Woman.
She told CTV News last month she wanted to win to honor her late mother. And that she did, becoming the first Canadian to win a medal in para-canoe with a silver on Saturday. Ontario-born swimmer Sebastian Massaby broke the world record with his gold medal in the men's 50-meter freestyle. Quebec's Aurélie Rivard became the first Canadian swimmer to win a gold medal in the same event in 3 consecutive Games since 2008. Team Canada smashed another first in women's sitting volleyball, ending the country's podium drought in the sport with a bronze. And there was another historic win for Team Canada, described as a game changer for their bank accounts. For the first time ever, money for medals, $20,000 for gold, $15,000 for silver, $10,000 for bronze, equal to what Olympic athletes receive. It's a program that will continue at each Paralympics from here forward. Christina Tanelia, CTV News, Toronto.
A dramatic first Sunday of the NFL season saw a star player stopped and handcuffed en route to the stadium.
They put him in handcuffs.
Hours before Sunday's kickoff, Tyreek Hill was on the ground, face down in handcuffs, just a block away from the Miami Dolphins' home stadium. Another angle of the video appears to show police forcibly sitting him down on the curb.
Why do you believe the police put you in handcuffs?
I have no idea, for real. No idea. It wasn't disrespectful, because my mom didn't raise me that way. Didn't cuss. Didn't do none of that. So, like I said, I'm still trying to figure it out, man.
An officer says Hill was stopped for speeding and reckless driving. One of the officers involved in the incident has been placed on administrative duties.
First and 10.
By kickoff, Hill was back on the field, making a major splash in the Dolphins' comeback win. Hill and a teammate appeared to reference the handcuff gesture during a touchdown celebration.
I won't want you to miss it. Meet me in New Orleans, February 9th, 2025.
The star-studded Super Bowl halftime show will be headlined by rapper Kendrick Lamar. It's the second time Lamar will perform at one of the most coveted events in music, but his first as the main act. Still ahead, botched ticket sales. Britain's competition watchdog puts Ticketmaster under the microscope. A major musical comeback is being rocked by controversy. Britain's competition watchdog is probing Ticketmaster for the upcoming reunion tour of Oasis. Here's CTV's Andrew Johnson.
It promises to be one of the biggest reunions in rock history.
It's the biggest comeback for me to see this band live again.
Oasis was one of the dominant British acts of the 90s, but split in 2009 after a string of public spats between brothers Noel and Liam Gallagher. News of their surprise reunion led thousands of Oasis fans to wait hours in virtual lineups to get their hands on tickets for next summer's UK dates. But many were shocked by Ticketmaster prices much higher than advertised.
It was ridiculous. My friend bought some for like $2,500 each, and she bought 4 of them.
Fans expecting tickets in the $250 Canadian range were asked to pay more than $600, thanks to what's called dynamic pricing.
Artists want to take into consideration what tickets are going to be sold for on the secondary market, so that if there is high demand, in theory, the goal is to raise the price of the tickets to match that. Artists will gain that money themselves rather than seeing it go to other people.
Britain's competition watchdog is now getting involved, launching an investigation into the way more than 1 million tickets were sold for the Oasis reunion shows. This after the dynamic pricing practice and jacked up prices have already angered fans of everyone from Harry Styles to Bruce Springsteen. Taylor Swift opted out for the Eras Tour.
Dynamic pricing is initiated with the assent of the artist. So artists themselves can say, no, we don't think this is a good idea.
Will desperate fans who paid out more than they planned look back in anger? Or will the Oasis reunion be worth the wait and price? Definitely, maybe. Andrew Johnson, CTV News, Vancouver.
After the break, turning a mess into a masterpiece. Finally for us tonight, a man who is as resilient as he is resourceful. When a little library community was disrupted by vandalism, he stepped up and started a new chapter through creativity and kindness. CTV's Adam Sawatsky explains.
Roger Barker was looking forward to exchanging a book at one of the little free libraries that had been erected round his neighborhood when he found it vandalized.
Some person had thrown a burning book in it.
Well, then Roger discovered another nearby book exchange was damaged too.
Glass all over the floor.
Followed by a third little library that was destroyed.
All that was left of it was a stump.
Roger says he felt frustrated at first, heartbroken, and then, unexpectedly, inspired.
And I thought, if I can do something here, I will.
The thing was, Roger had never fixed anything like this before.
Got basically a drill, a few screwdrivers.
Not only did he lack knowledge, he had little space to attempt something so substantial.
My mind was muddled on, I'm going to achieve this.
But after getting some support from a couple friends and neighbors, Roger went to work on his apartment patio, fixing the first 2 libraries, before spending 6 weeks constructing a third one from scratch.
I don't know. I just did,
But more than build a simple box for books, Roger figured out how to attach a shingle to a peaked roof and hang a hinged door with a glass front before embellishing it with inspiration.
If music be the food of love, play on.
A musical quote from Shakespeare that can be accompanied by a piano Roger placed in the little library's attic.
Got a handle on the other side, played a little tune.
There's also a sign that says, where flowers bloom, so does hope.
And hope is my wife's middle name. So she gives me hope.
But more than hope, Roger's acts of creative kindness are inspiring a sense of certainty in these online community pages, that like a choose-your-own-adventure book, we can decide to make a story that begins with destruction and with the creation of something even better.
Anything is achievable.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Victoria.
That is our newscast for this Sunday. I'm Heather Butts. For all of us at CTV National News, thank you for watching. I'll see you again on Friday. Good night.